Ever wondered what sets RAM apart from ROM? These two types of computer memory may seem similar, but they serve different purposes and have distinct characteristics. Let's delve into the key differences between RAM and ROM. First off, volatility. RAM, or random access memory, is what's known as volatile memory. In layman's terms, this means that all information stored in RAM disappears when you switch off your computer. It's like a chalkboard that gets wiped clean when the lights go out, hence why we often call it temporary memory. On the other hand, ROM, which stands for read-only memory, is non-volatile memory. It's like a permanent marker on a whiteboard, steadfast and unchanging. ROM keeps its contents intact even when the computer is powered off. It stores essential instructions needed for the computer to boot up, often referred to as firmware or BIOS. Now let's talk about purpose. RAM is the go-to for temporary storage of data that the CPU needs to access swiftly during regular operation. It's like the computer's short-term memory, storing the operating system, running programs, and data being actively processed. ROM, in contrast, is the computer's long-term memory. It's primarily used for storing firmware or low-level software that initializes the hardware and kickstarts the boot-up process when the computer is turned on. Next up, read and write access. RAM is like an open book. Data can be both read from and written to it. This flexibility makes it perfect for storing data that needs to be quickly accessed and modified by the CPU. ROM, however, is more of a one-way street. It's read-only memory, meaning data can be read from it but not written to it. The data stored in ROM is typically permanent and unchangeable under normal circumstances. Speed is another key difference. RAM is a speed demon. It's accessed directly by the CPU and optimized for rapid data retrieval and modification, making it much faster than ROM. ROM, while essential, doesn't require the same need for speed. It's typically slower in terms of access speed compared to RAM, as its main job is to store critical startup instructions. Finally, size matters. RAM is usually larger in terms of capacity compared to ROM. Modern computers typically boast several gigabytes of RAM. ROM, however, is the more compact of the two. It only needs to contain the essential startup instructions to initialize the hardware and begin the boot process. So to sum it all up, RAM is your computer's temporary, high-speed storage for data that needs to be quickly accessed and modified during regular operation. ROM, on the other hand, is your computer's permanent storage for essential startup instructions and firmware, unchanging even when the power's off. Two types of memory, each with its own unique role in the computer's operation.